It's the 25th of March, 2022, and the version that we are running here is version 3.6.1, and I am on the desktop version of Telegram. I'm going to be covering the group setting as far as it relates to setting up and managing the group, and then also a great deal of focus on to how to set up the video chat or the video stream inside of the group. Channels work like the groups, they just have a few different nuances, so I'm just going to be focusing on the group. What I'll try and do is put some timeline things into the description at the bottom so you can hop in between them. So first thing I do, and I'm walking through the process that I think through, is I'll go on the desktop to the menu. You see there we have new group, new channel. Just to highlight that I'm not dealing with a mobile device. There's a lot of stuff that are the same on the mobile, but a few nuances also. So we're just talking about desktop because I want to talk about screen sharing. On the desktop, it's more practical to do so because you could include two screens and you've got a little bit more real estate. So when I set up my desktop version of Telegram, I usually start off here by calls. I go to calls and there's usually a list of the calls that have been made here. In my case, I've cleared it out before I done this video, but you go to the three dots here and you'll see call settings. Now on the call settings, you have access to the video device that you're using. Because we are so much online nowadays and a lot of people have different devices, maybe a webcam, maybe external SLR or mirrorless, or a phone. You could have multiple devices that are listed. So for Telegram, this is the area in the program itself where you are able to go and make that selection. Once you're in the group and functioning there, you don't have access to setting up the camera per se. You can still set up the audio input and the listening device, but not the camera. Hopefully they'll introduce that sometime later into the later version where we can do it inside the group video chat section as such. Okay, but I'm using Irian, which is a mobile app on the phone, and it turns my mobile into a webcam. So you select it over here so that you know that when you go to the application, you're not going to find out that it's missing the camera or it's not selecting the correct camera. If it does, you come back here and make sure it sets up. Then also your output device and your input microphone. Go and do the settings there. Mine is on the correct ones that I use. As you can see, the inputs are shooting through here. The other thing that I can advise is if you've got the application Telegram running on your computer desktop or your laptop and you have it on your phone, you possibly maybe want to flip this off here to accept calls on the device. Because if you leave this on, when somebody calls you, it will ring on this device and it will ring on your phone. So if you're okay with that, it's fine. But if you have Telegram running on 3-4 different devices, all of them will ring if you don't switch this off on the particular device. I switch this off because on my desktop, I do most of my interactions and I speak on my mobile device. Okay, so once we got that set up, sorted out there. So now the next thing that we do is we can go in again to the menu, and here you see new group, new channel. One of the core differences between the two is that a channel, you can start off without adding any members in. Members can join later, or people can just view the channel without even joining. Whereas with a group, you need to have somebody attached to the group. So if you're starting it, you become the administrator or the owner, and whoever joins in there will be the members, and you can always upgrade them to be an administrator. But you can only initiate a group when you add somebody to yourself. So when two people are together, the group can be formed. In this way, you probably have to choose somebody that you're going to have in the group, or even another number that you are using to start the group off. You can always remove them from the group if you choose to, but you need to know that is important. You need to add one person to make the group start up. So I'm going to click New Group, and I'm going to call it Demo. Let me just call it Demo Group. Here you can see you can add an image to it. Now, the nice thing about Telegram is if you don't add it here, there's still other areas that you can still go and update it. And you'll find, interestingly enough, that where you add members appear in different sections as you're working in the group. If you want to add members, there's different areas. If you want to send links, there's different options to send the same links that you want to set up. So it's not like you have to remember the one aspect only. So I'm not going to put the image here now. I'll put it in a later section. So let's say next. Here it's asking for a member to join this group. And what is cool here, it shows here that you are one of 200,000. You can have up to 200,000 people on this group. It is a bit crazy to have even more than 100 or 1,000 people on if you're working with sort of defined groups. If you are going to run a webinar where you're streaming, you can use a group, or a channel would even be better, because then there's unlimited people you can stream to. But I'm going to use this studio. It's one of my accounts that I'm just putting in there just to start up the group. Then I can say create. If I delete this, you're going to see if I go to say create, nothing is going to happen. As soon as I add one at least, I can add multiple ones and then click create, it will start off. Principle with my creation of any group, I do not add people. I usually send a link just for security purposes. You don't want to add people and they feel you unauthorized to put them into the group that you're developing. Although they have in Telegram the ability to prevent anybody from adding them to groups, etc. All those features do exist. But if they allow you to add them in, you might find a problem that they will call you and say, look, you've added me without my permission, etc. So I just routinely send a link once I've established a group. So yeah, I've got studio. I'll say create. Now it will formulate. And that's it. Your actual group has been created. Now, I just want to highlight here, you see on the side here, there's little icons here. These are actual chats that are open now, and I've got an archive chat with a lot of chats in that is collapsed here. If I pull on this here, I'm going to open this whole area. I can drag this here, but this is just for privacy's sake for making the video. And down here, these are all folders. There's other videos that can show you how to make it. It's just to keep the work neat. So I'm going to just click on one or two of them. You can see that these things are all established in folders. And that's just the way I set it up. It's how you can do it on the mobile and on the desktop. Okay, so here we have demo group with 2 people. If I hover over that, you can see the 2 people. So I'm going to go from menu top right to left to explain these things inside the group. However, you've got to understand that the group is created. It's functional. You can start adding people, sending links and so forth. And it works like any other Telegram chat. You've got the attachments you can have. You can send messages. You can do emojis. You can do stickers. You can send voice notes, etc. So anything that you can do in a normal chat, you can do inside the group as far as messaging goes. The unique difference now is the ability that you can add people into the group, either via you adding them or via link, as I explained. And once they're in this group now, they would have access to certain other things that aren't available with one-to-one chats. So I'm going to just go through this menu to help you understand how it functions. So first of all, we understand that the group has been created with these 2 members over here. If I click on these 3 buttons, these are the menus that I'm going to just highlight. View group info, let's click through that and you'll see what it is. So it's giving you the information. You can add the image. Like I said earlier, here's another area that you can add the image. You didn't need to add it at the beginning. And if you don't want to add it here, there are a few other menus where you have the same ability. So it's available in different sections. Notification, if you don't want to be notified every time somebody comes online or posts a message or that in this group, you can disable it here. Okay, so your phone won't be pinging or your computer won't be pinging all the time. Again, here's another area to add members. If you click here, you can see you can add members here. So it's not like a one button that does the job and you have to remember that. If you kind of get lost, you hover over certain buttons and you'll see these features pop out for you. You could add members there again, etc. If you wanted to remove a member, you could hover over them and you can see the X and you can remove them if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to close this. This is group info. Before I go to these next features here, I just maybe want to hop to this next one, because this is group info that pops it out on the side here. So if I click here, you can see group info is visible here. So it's exactly the same thing. Okay, if you want to have that open there. So I'm going to just collapse that. The second one here is unmute. This is, you can mute or unmute the notification. Once again, it's a replication of what we saw earlier in the view group section, where you could mute the notifications. Manage group, I'm going to come to that now. I just want to highlight this. Create a poll. If you had a group, because it can grow to 200,000 people in a group, you're probably going to have more people administering with you, helping you with the process. And sometimes you want to create a poll to find out a consensus in a group. You can do that here. If you click it, you can have anonymous voting, multiple choice answers, quiz. You pose the questions and create a set list, and people can respond on it. You just create it, it will appear in here, and the statistics will be able to pull through. Clear history is if you have something in this area. Let's say we say hello. Okay, so it's giving me an input here that I've created a group called demo group, and there's hello. If I come here, I can clear this history, or I can individually right click on it and delete it. Okay, so if you have 5 things and you want to delete only one, you can just hover over it, right click and delete it. Okay, just a side note that is really great with Telegram, and this is not only for groups, is that if you right click on it and you say edit, you can change that text. If I say edit, I can say hello and how are you, and I accept it there. You can see it now. It will change to hello are you, and it will say it's been edited. This is the brilliance of Telegram. Like no other applications do this. You either have to delete it and put a new message through. So this is actually just a feature of Telegram I thought I'd share with you. So if we go now and we go say clear history, it's going to clear everything. It warns us that it's going to be removing it, and it also gives us the ability to enable an auto delete, which means that in the future, if anybody puts any message in here within a time frame, it's going to auto delete itself. So if I click this, you'll see what it says. Auto delete in a day, in a week or a month. So it doesn't have specific hours, you know, how many hours or sort of custom setting, but these are kind of generic ones. After a day of something being posted, it will auto delete itself. That's if you want to do that. So you just make your selection and save it. But in this case, I'm going to just leave that off. Okay, so let me go there and clear the history. Say delete, and then we clean it nicely off there. Just make sure that if you've posted something on the group that's essential to stay there, don't remove it, because you as the admin will be removing it off everybody's device, or have the option of doing that. And then the last one here, delete and leave, because you're the author of the group. If you delete it and leave, the whole group shuts down. So if you're going to leave it and you don't want to be part of it anymore, there's a process of transferring the group onto a new owner if you choose to do so. Okay, so just be careful that you don't just click this button and shut down an existing group that you're running. Okay, so for now, we're going to go to manage group, which is the next section that I think is going to be important. What is essential about this manage group is we realize that everybody in this group will have different aspirations, and you as the admin want to control how it gets managed in the group, because if you're just using it for a training one day a week or something, and for the rest of the week everybody's chatting and sending videos and everything, sometimes people get annoyed at all that, and they don't want to be part of the group because there's too much activity. So the managing group section gives you the ability to sort of granular management of what data comes into the group, who can post, etc., and limitations and all that. It's just there to make sure that compliance is there for the team members. If you're open to everybody sharing everything, then you can leave it the way you do. I'm going to share what I do and maybe give you the understanding behind it. So let me go to manage group. Now on the manage group section, we have again the name, which I can change there, and here again the photo, the ability to put in a photo. So I'm going to choose now a photo. I'm going to click on that, and I'm on my desktop and I don't have a camera link to it, so I'm going to just choose File and go look for an image. And maybe I'm going to just look for this eagle. We have a bit of ability to do a bit of editing and rotating basic and cropping, but I'm happy with that, so I say done. Now, yeah, I think it's essential to give the group a good description, because when you send a link out for people to join this group, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see the group name, they're going to see the image that you're choosing, and they're going to see the description. So, for example, I'll say meeting, let's put that together, meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday evenings. Okay, whatever your description is, you put the whole description in there, and when you send the link, it will show demo group with that image and this description. If you don't do this, every time you send a link to somebody, you probably have to add and type additional text. Because I work with big groups, I make sure that this area is well defined, and then the sharing of links just become better managed. What I want to also cover here is the group type. You have two group types. One is private and one is public. What that means is that private will get a unique link to it that you can share with people, and when they click, they come into it. But the biggest part about that is the person can't type in the name of this private group and find it on Telegram. They won't be able to search for it. Whereas if they are public group and they type the name of the group, they'll be able to find it and access it. Well, access it if access is given to them. So that's the big key difference. You can't be searched if it's a private group. You can when it's a public group. So let me just open this and possibly explain what we're seeing here. The private group will have a code like this. If you click public group, you will see you will have to put in here, say this is my demo. You see it says, sorry, it's already used. Maybe call this group. And I'm going to just put a random number. So there it says that is available. So if anybody types t.me/my demo group 234, they'd be able to come to this group that I'm creating if I use this as a public group name. Okay, in this case, I'm not going to use a public group. I don't advise anybody to use it unless you have a common interest that the whole world can access when they want to, or it's maybe a community awareness group that you're running. Then you can give it a specific name, because it doesn't help to have a private link, because then your audience will be limited based on who you can share it with. So for example, Samsung would be t.me/, and if you go Samsung, you'll reach the Samsung company. They basically came early on board to get their name, their unique name. So it's first come, first serve. Okay. The other thing is here, just manage links. If you click on that, you can get to a point where this group, whether it's in this case now it is a private group, will have its name. Maybe I should just go back here. Let's just go back here and switch it over to private group again. This gives you a permanent link to this private group. So this means that this link will be available. Anybody who clicks on it will come here. If you share the link with somebody, they'll click and come here. However, if you want to create a unique link outside of this link that's going to be used almost on a temporary basis, that's going to have a limited use, and later you'll revoke it, you don't fiddle with the permanent one. What you do is you will go to manage invites, and you'll create a new link. You can come in here, and this link you will have features like whether the admin has to approve that the person can join the group. So you create this link, you send it out, and before this person can come into the group, the admin will have to approve them. So you can flip this button on. So this is a unique temporary link created for this particular group. It has unique features in that your original link can stay standard, and this one can be used for outside people to bring them in the group on a temporary basis. There's a time limit you can put on it. You can give it a name, a time limit. So it means that this is only available for an hour. After an hour, this link won't work. and you can have custom times put in, and then also how many people can use this link before the link becomes inactive. Okay, so this is a more sort of advanced section, but you can create unique links that have a expiry time as such, or a certain limit to it. And the power behind that is that you create this link, and when it's done, it's revoked and you can delete it and it won't work anymore. You can see the dilemma that if you use this permanent link and you send it out and then you keep changing it, you might have sent this to 100 of your members and only 20 of them join the group. When you decide to change this for some reason, that link won't work with them if you change the permanent one. So your permanent members, you always want them to have access to this permanent link. And this permanent link can be shared with them by either copying the link and putting it in the other application, or sharing this link. Well, the other way of doing it is if you click here, you again can see copy, share, or you could generate a QR code. So you can send this QR code to them when they scan it. If they have Telegram on, they can go in, or they have to download Telegram before they can access it. Okay, and then if you decide for some reason that you want to change this, maybe there's some spam coming through and you really don't want to use this permanent link, you can revoke it and it will automatically generate a new link here as a permanent link. Okay, so the concept of permanent links and the concept of a temporary link. Now, if you create a new link and you make it unlimited time, it could act as a permanent link, but then at least when you revoke this, it doesn't interfere with your permanent link. It might be confusing initially, so all I suggest is start off with just using the normal link, copy this and share it. Okay, let's get done with that, and that is with a private group. Once we're done with that, we can save it. I think it's worthwhile. I've mentioned all of that. Now I can just mention here that in this link in the private group, if you switch this on restrict saving content, then I can, if you have content in the group, you are restricted from saving it. Also, if anybody wants to send information, you can limit it whether they can access it if they're not part of the group. So there's a lot of controls with it. In this case, I want you to see it as the ability just to create a link and share it from the public perspective or the private perspective. I know I've gone into a little bit of depth here, but it's worthwhile just knowing this background so that when you think about things, you have this as a reference. And then we can say save. When we talk about the chat history, you have two options, hidden and visible. Hidden, if it's hidden, then whoever joins this group after it's been formed will be able to see up till about 100 chats before they joined. If it is visible, if you choose visible, then they'll be able to see all the messages that were sent prior to them joining. Okay, so I just routinely put it on visible. Keep it on that one, but it's your choice. The next thing is permissions. Now this is essential. This is permissions for your actual users who join the group. So everybody that joins the group will be subject to these permissions. And what are they? They are basically permissions to allow them to do certain things in the group. This is quite granular in how it controls things, because you can understand that if over 1,000 people or 100,000 people come onto a group, you want to be able to control what is being shared and how much information is coming through. Else you might find the people on the group getting very frustrated with too much things happening on the group. I routinely would go switch all of these off and possibly just the ability to send messages. So people that are in a group can send messages, but they can't send videos to each other, etc. Except, of course, the owner or the administrators of the group. So this is my usual default setting, but you can see that it makes sense. For example, if I put add members on, then if somebody joins as a member, they'll be able to add another member to the group. But I would disable that. For my purposes that I use mostly, I let the admin manage that process. But you have full control over that. Just here, the slow mode just means that if somebody is posting so fast, like they're just posting post after post, you can put this onto a slow mode. For example, if you put it onto, say, 10 seconds, that means if somebody posts, they'll have to wait for 10 seconds before they can do a second post themselves. But everyone else can post, but there's just this 10-second buffer to allow everyone a chance to respond. That's if you need it. I usually don't use that on. Here's the other thing. You might have somebody in the group. Now, we're not talking about somebody that becomes an administrator that you're going to upgrade, which I'll show you now. It's just normal people joining. You maybe want somebody in the group to be able to have a little bit more of benefits. Say they are responsible for sending the media into the group. Then you can go here to exceptions. Then whoever's on the group, the person has to be in the group. You can then add them to the exceptions and give them the rights to do that. So let's say I want to get the one person I added to this group to be able to send media also. I'll go to exceptions. Let's see, do I have another? There we go. I'm going to add an exception. I'm going to go studio. And then what I'll do here is let me just switch all of these off. And I'll say this person will be able to send messages and media. Okay, and I can restrict this one. I can say this is how this is going to operate forever. Or I could say this is just for one day. So I'm going to say on Monday I'll tell Studio that you can manage and send the videos that you get, but after that one day is done, then this feature will stop. The restriction will stop on that point. So this is the kind of a granular control you have over managing those processes. At this point, I know a lot of people might be feeling like it's a bit too much information, but just that you know that this exists. And if you know that it exists, when you're busy dealing with your groups, you don't get despondent that you don't know how to control and manage the things. Just to know that there are features that do exist there, that it can help you through the process. So my setup would be just messages, okay? And now we go to reactions. I wouldn't even debate this. These are all the thumbs up, thumbs down. For reactions in the group, I just switch them all off. I don't usually encourage all of these. Okay, so I switch that off. And then administrators, once again, I am the administrator, but I can add an administrator. And the additional administrators need to be normal members in the group. So if I upgrade this other person here, I can bring that in there. Okay, so let's save that and close this off. Okay, so you can see here now we have 2 administrators and 2 members. However, this administrator, I might need to add certain features, so I can come to them, click on them, and I can choose which features they're allowed to do. And it works just like a normal member, but this is at a higher level of administrative rights. Okay, I'm going to remove this one from administrator now. So I just can keep 1 administrator and the 2 members. Okay, so these settings here when you set up the group are sort of, once you get familiar with them, they're quite crucial in making sure that you don't have too many people posting things and images and GIFs and all that on the group. If you're happy with that, you could leave all the things on default, but that just basically opens it up to everybody. When you're totally done, you click save, and there we go. Okay, so we've dealt with these menu items. I'm going to just clear this out here quickly. Let's just go and clear the history. Here is if you want to search for any chats or so forth, you can search. It will pull up here if you want to. But this is the focus that we're going to go on now. So this is where you set up your chat. These chats don't exist unless the administrator starts it up and initiates it. Once the administrator starts it and initiates it, others can join it. And when the administrator leaves the chat, they can either shut it fully down or they could just leave it and leave it open, sort of being always on. I explain it in this way. It's like the administrator can open a room, unlock the room, and the room exists there. And when they go in, others can join. They can either, when they leave, get everybody out, lock it, and leave the room. Then nobody can join when they're not around. Or they can leave the room and leave it unlocked, and people can stay in there, and everybody could leave. But if people the other members want to go in there at any other time, they can go in. It's always unlocked, and they can chat with each other. So that's what the process is when you establish these voice groups as such. So I'm going to click on this now. It's going to give us 3 options here. And I'm not going to get too deep into these 3 options, but the third one here is the ability to stream. Or maybe I should just click through it while I'm at it. This information you would put into something like a program called OBS, where you have maybe your video webcam going into, you're also having titles on the screen and maybe a whole lot of other production stuff. And that will be streamed into this Telegram group. In the Telegram group, you'll see the video coming through with all the information from something like OBS. So in OBS, you'll have to take this information and put it in there and stream it. But it's more for advanced people to do that. This feature just came in the recent update, okay? So the next one here is scheduling. Now, when you schedule something, it just sets up a date and a time. And an hour before the meeting actually starts, the system will automatically notify everybody that's in the group that that meeting is about to start. When the time expires, this meeting doesn't automatically start. You as the person, as the admin, still have to start the meeting, okay? So it's not automated to start as such. It's just a countdown clock. So let me just show you. If you go to schedule video chat, you can put up the schedule there and put in the time. And of course, it will remind people an hour before the time. So I'm going to start the schedule now. And here's interesting to note that this is how it actually works. Whenever you start this voice chat, this group chat, or the voice live stream inside the group, you have a separate dialog box that pops out. It works with the Telegram channel, like you see the normal Telegram, but it contains all the other features of the video call and all of those sort of stuff. So all the members that join will be in this section, and you can still chat with people. You can send messages, videos, depending on what the system allows you to send, as we showed in the previous section. But this section will have the videos and the list of everybody that's in the video chat call. So this is quite key in operating the video call. Now we've set it up as a scheduled meeting. Okay, you notice here that when it's a scheduled meeting, you still have a start button here. This is just a countdown, but you'll have a start button. And when you click start, the meeting will begin. Okay, so if this clock finishes here, it doesn't mean the meeting is going to begin, as I explained. Here's the other thing that I explained, that if you click close, because you initiated, you are the owner of the group, either the owner or an administrator running the meeting. When you click close, you'll have the option to click abort video chat, which means you are going to get everybody out of the room and you are going to lock the door and nobody can use this video chat. Okay, if you don't check that box and you just close, you leaving it, but everybody who's in the group or people later in the group can join at random and converse with each other. Okay, so it depends on how you want to utilize that, whether you want to shut it down. I'll give you a scenario. I set up a presentation where somebody does a presentation to, say, 50, 60 people. They come in, and when that meeting's done, there's no conversation and asking questions or anything. It's just a broadcast setup. When it's done, we shut the whole thing down, so everybody that's in this call will all knock out of the call. They'll still be part of the group, but they'll be out of the call. Okay, I'm going to just cancel this because I just want to explain here also. When we go to settings, these settings here are here as a result of us not being in the meeting yet. We haven't started the meeting. This is just a countdown, but if I click here, you'll see, remember we went to the menu section here. You had the ability to set up the speakers and the microphone. You don't see the video setting here. That's why I said we've got to go set it there right at the beginning. But you have other features here that you can mute all participants when they join. You can enable noise suppression. Use this sensitively because it reduces background noise quite effectively, but it also could suffocate your actual voice that you're talking at. It could make the signal of your actual sound not come through too nicely while taking out background voices. Then there's push to talk. You could have a space bar. You could allocate a different thing to it. And once again, you can share a link. Now, the sharing of the link is the same like sharing it from the other areas. The meeting hasn't started. It will just share a link. And in video chat is again, like I showed you earlier, with setting it down here. Okay, just let's go to this top area here. You can change the title here, and you can change the settings, which is the same that we have here. If you go there, let's show you. Same things. This is the settings again. Okay, now the difference is when the meeting gets underway, this will change into a video camera that you're going to be able to communicate, and this will change into a mic. Okay, so if I click this now, it will start up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how it will look if I just start the meeting immediately through the menu item here, the third one that I showed you in this little icon. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to board the entire thing, shut everything down. Okay, so you can see now we're back in the group. If I click here, you can see the stream schedule and start video chat. Now I'm going to click here now. Okay, so starting here will be the same as if I clicked in the schedule video chat, the start button. But here it's just going to start up immediately. So if I click here, it's asking whether I want to be represented in this group chat as myself, my personal account, or the name of the group as a kind of administrator. So I'm going to say that and say continue, and there we have it. Okay, there you can see there's the video camera, there's the mic, everything the same. But you'll notice here that here I am listed here, demo group, because that's what I chose. And everybody that joins now, if they're part of the group, when they join the group, they'll be able to see a join button on top to join this video call session. Okay, being part of the group doesn't mean you've joined the video call session. You still have to join it when you come into it. So when there's nobody in the group, you'll see nothing here. When there's somebody in the group like I am now, you won't see it on my device, but any device that connects, you'll see a join button on top. And when they join there, you'll see them coming in and listed here at the bottom. And as they list in here, all the members can be here. If they switch their videos on, you can see the little videos. The great thing is that you can maximize this on the whole screen. And if there's 20 videos or whatever it is, they can all be positioned in the areas here, like any video conferencing tool. Okay, but I'm going to just show you there's two other buttons that appear here once you are live now in this video call. It's going to be the start record button and screen share button. The settings button is the same like we've dealt with before. So I'm going to just go through the screen share button and the recording button. When you record, you have the option of choosing to record just audio, or you can record the video, which has audio included with it. And when you're recording video, it gives you an option of recording landscape or portrait. So let me just show you that. If you go here, it's going to say, do you want to record audio only or also video? If you say also video, if it's just audio, then you can say continue. If it's video, it's going to give you the option of video, either portrait or landscape. If you say continue, it's going to ask the name of the file. Let's call it demo test. Now what happens is when you say start, it's going to start recording, and it will put it in your saved messages. When the meeting's over, it will appear here. If you leave the meeting, it will save, it doesn't get lost. Or you could go, my routinely I'll go and stop the recording before I shut down. You can do it either way. So if I say start, it's now started recording. You'll see a little dot on top there. And if you look here in the section, you'll see this little green thing. And as people come on board, you'll see the little icons pop on top here. Everyone's little icon pops. Those who are busy talking at the moment. Okay, so it's busy recording now. I'm going to just put on the video. I don't have a video camera, but this is my video that comes up here. And all of this is busy recording. And let's go here. If I wanted to share my screen, same principle like any video screen sharing opportunity, is if you click share screen, it pulls up the different screens that if you select them, like this is my first screen. I've got two screens. If this is the first screen, if I want to share anything that's audio on it, I must just make sure that this is checked. Okay, if I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation, for example, let me just show you this. I'm going to maybe open up a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so if I go now, this is the application. I've opened this in the background. If I go here and I tap there and I say share screen, you'll see it comes up as an option. So if I select that and I say share screen, it will populate inside of my Telegram application here. And if I want to have my video showing here, it's on now at the moment, because it records the actual video. Only this video of myself that I put on here, if I put it on, will overlay on the screen share over here. But in this area, it will show it up on the side here. But with the actual recording, it will be overlaid onto the video recording. If I switch this off, it of course will disappear there. Okay. Yeah, so if I'm on this side, let me just show you. I'm just trying to work it on two screens. If I flip between here, you can see it's going in between those screens that we're sharing. And then if I want to stop sharing, I can come here. I can jump to another screen and just say share. Or if I want to stop on here, I select it and I say stop sharing. And it will stop inside this window. Okay. And then of course the mic works as per usual, as I've just shown you the video. So there we have screen sharing and we are still recording. So if I wanted to stop the recording, I can stop it here, or when I shut down the meeting, it will automatically shut itself down. But I wouldn't say you must just shut down the meeting and not do it via the stop recording. I think it's just a proper process to switch here, so you make sure that everything is saved. So if I go here now and the meeting is done, we've done all that we needed to do. If I go and I say stop recording, do you want to stop? I say okay. You see here it pops up in my saved messages, and then I can download it from here and save it to wherever I want to. Okay. The really great thing about this is that everything is contained inside Telegram, and this is in the cloud. Yeah, this has been recorded and it's in the cloud because Telegram is in the cloud. Okay, so we have that up and running, and this is just the audio file here, the demo group, and this is the audio and video presented in what we're sharing with you. Okay, so let's just see what other things we have covered here. The other thing is, if somebody joins the group, I'm going to just, if you go and somebody joins the group and the mic is red with a little mic but a red line through it, it often means that they can't unmute themselves. What you have to do is click on it, and you'll have to, will be mute. You can say unmute, and then it gives them the ability to unmute themselves and mute themselves again. So if the admin mutes them forcefully, they can't unmute themselves. They can click on the speak button and there will be a little hands up. But this is how you do your recording for your session. And when you're done, there again, I can say leave, and the meeting's done. So if I come back into the meeting here, if I just click here now, I won't still go start meeting everything because that meeting room is still open. If I just click here, it will go right into the meeting. And anybody who's part of this group, if they click on their one like this, the icon, they'll go straight into the meeting. If I shut the meeting totally, when I click here, I'll have to initiate the meeting again. So if I click here, I'll go immediately in. See there, I'm right into the meeting. Now if I go and I shut it totally down, then when I come here, it's going to give me the options, still the 3 options to restart it. You see, then I have to restart the meeting. So you have the choice of leaving it as an always on for your team, or you could just have it on the day you're running your only presentation, start it up and shut it down fully when you're done. Okay, I'm going to just go there and clear this history. And there we go. So have a fantastic day and shalom.